This story is about injury, denial, lying, and collusion from the Honeywell Corporation to local government agencies at the state level and all the way to Washington, D.C. Major acid and chemical spills that have been hidden from the public for over 7 years. U.S. citizens in the northeast Washington state have been exposed to these gas releases into their air and chemical spills into their aquifer. This story begins with a local Spokane, Washington man that worked at Honeywell Corporation for over 7 years. While working at Honeywell, he personally witnessed these gas leaks into the air and chemical spills that seeped through 6 to 8 inches of concrete into the ground. After a period of time, he became sick and submitted a claim. Then he was told that his insurance claim was denied, his rights were taken away, and Honeywell denied any wrongdoing of any kind. Honeywell then hid the information from the public through the EPA.
My name is Michael J. McCormick. I used to work for Honeywell International, and in 2007 I filed a labor and industry claim, and at that time, after I recuperated, I wrote a letter to Dave Cody, who is the CEO and chairman of the board of Honeywell International. I received this letter back from Kathleen L. Adams, Vice President and General Counsel.
This letter is dated October 20th, 2008 to Mr. McCormick, and it's coming from Catherine L. Adams, Vice President and General Counsel at the Honeywell Corporation. Dear Mr. McCormick, Mr. Cody has requested that we investigate and respond to your letter to him dated September 20th, 2008, in which you raise concerns pertaining to health, safety, and environmental issues at the Honeywell Electronic Materials, Spokane, Washington manufacturing plant. We take our responsibility to provide a safe workplace, protect the health of our employees, and safeguard the environment in which we operate very seriously. We are committed to protecting the safety and health of our employees, complying with applicable laws and regulations, and operating all of our facilities in an environmentally responsible manner. It is also our policy to fully investigate all possible allegations of potential health, safety, or environmental issues, noncompliance, or improper business conduct. Over the course of the past 2 weeks, we have conducted a thorough investigation of the concerns you raise in your letter. This investigation was led by management from outside the plant and included external technical safety, industrial hygiene, and environmental experts. In addition, over the past several days, multiple inspections of the site have been conducted by external regulatory authorities, including WESHA, Spokane Regional Clean Air Agency, Washington State Department of Ecology, and Spokane County Public Works. Your letter raises issues that fall into 3 categories. Number 1, your belief that conditions at the manufacturing site may have exposed employees to chemicals that may have resulted in occupational health issues or disease. Number 2, your view that the facility has a history of spills and mismanagement of hazardous materials that you believe resulted in releases that may have affected the aquifer, damaged equipment, and created unsafe working conditions. And number 3, assertions of a lack of response by site management to address employee HSE concerns or to spend money to fix alleged problems. Neither the internal nor the external investigations identified any significant evidence to substantiate your concern. Several of the regulatory inspectors concluded that the facility operates safely in regards to both the employee health and the environment. A review of exposure data, the lead and cadmium control programs, a walkthrough inspection of the areas, and discussions with area personnel found no evidence that activities at the plant have resulted in occupational health issues or disease. The evidence indicated that there is no environmental harm to the aquifer, that equipment is repaired when damaged, and that there are no releases creating unsafe conditions. As to your assertion that management has failed to address employee health, safety, or environmental concerns, or to spend money to fix alleged problems, to the contrary, the investigation indicated that the Spokane site takes HSE compliance seriously, responding appropriately to alleged HSE issues. The site management has surfaced potential issues externally beyond the plant through the required management processes of self-assessment tool and the annual compliance assurance letter. The site has made and continues to make appropriate resources available to effectively manage HSE compliance and issues and has responded in a responsible and professional manner when becomes aware of potential safety and health or environmental hazards or issues. Thank you for expressing your concerns and bringing them to our attention. If you have similar concerns in the future, please do not hesitate to let me or any other member of Honeywell Management know. Sincerely, Catherine L. Adams.
In many of the transcripts, which the Assistant Attorney General should be unbiased, they should all be unbiased on what transpires. But there again, they wanted to hush this up. We had originally, there was a couple of us had called WSHA a couple months earlier in 2007, and because of the breach floors, and they did bring in some people from WSHA who took pictures and looked at everything. We found out later that they had fined the company, and the company had mentioned that.
Crim 2 News at 6 starts now.
Well, get ready for a blast of winter. It may not be too bad outside right now, but there's a big change brewing for later on in the week.
A Spokane woman and her mother could be headed to prison because of some real-life monkey business.
First, your child's school is not where you'd expect to find high levels of toxic materials, but we found a new report that might change your mind. Good evening, and thank you for being with us. I'm Randy Shaw.
And I'm Christy Goranson in for Nadine. Most parents would agree school is one of the last places they worry about their children being safe.
But a new report just out today in the USA Today focuses on hazardous materials that students may be exposed to around school without even knowing it. Crypto's Lee Stoll is live now, which local schools are passing and failing.
And the report is based on information from the EPA, and some of it is alarming, but some local experts say the conclusions are not perfect.
In North Idaho, every school in Kootenai County reported in the 90th percentile, the top for air quality. Most in Spokane County were pretty close, but a handful are far behind. At the opposite end of the spectrum, Children First in the Spokane Industrial Park.
Sometimes there is a smell in the air, and we call the EPA and let them know that we're smelling something that doesn't smell good to us.
Vicki Greger's Child Development Center shares the same building and thinks the results are
definitely surprising and definitely concerned.
The report, compiled by USA Today, lists more than 120,000 schools across the nation and the level of dangerous toxins in the air around them. For Children First, it's manganese, chlorine, and styrene from nearby sites like Spokane Industries, Kaiser Aluminum, and Honeywell.
I would want to know what steps are going to be taken to help remedy that.
I think it's very interesting, and I think it does raise some issues of concern that we need to look at here in the Spokane area.
Ron Edgar says the Spokane Regional Clean Air Agency recently monitored air toxins at several sites around Spokane. The cost for a single study, $400,000. The results? None of the levels were high enough to cause concern. Edgar says the new study is based on EPA information from 2005 and only looks at a school's proximity to an industrial site.
Without taking into account the topography, wind direction, other things that can affect what the concentrations are in an area.
For parents, the message is don't panic.
And some of it may be overestimating the real impact, and again, some of it may be underestimating.
And Edgar says that Washington State has some of the toughest air toxin standards in the country. His agency has not found any correlation between higher cancer rates and what was found in the USA Today study. Reporting live, I'm Lee Stoll, Crim 2 News.
The questions that arise are, shouldn't Honeywell be held accountable for their mistakes, as well as how they should fix the situation? Shouldn't this man be compensated for the health risks, violations, back benefits, and reimbursement for the past, present, and future impacts that he has accrued over the last 7 years? How will Honeywell look to take responsibility for their actions, along with the other agencies that were involved? They should pay restitution and penalties and remedy to the situation, and on top of everything else, notify the public of the past and future health risks.